Here on number 1, we start on a long par 5. He is making an arrow with those 2 mounds, so your line is straight through the middle of them. A small bunker out there was strategically placed for you to aim at. This morning, it's a 2.5, 3-shot hole, depending on where your drive ends up. A good opening par 5 where you could get your full swings in, but once you get to the green, things get a little more interesting. Number 2 is a relatively short par 4, all carry off the tee. The fairway slants right to left, so depending on what your ball flight is, anything right center where the mound comes down off of 11 will work. The green is surrounded by sand with some steep roll-off when you get up there. The first par 3 on the day, and it's a doozy. No matter where you look, you're completely surrounded by sand. The best line is to be a little short over the right mound, but if you just carry the top mound, you should be fine as well. And we're off to number 4. Another par 5, a true risk-reward hole. If you aim at the corner of the waist area on the left, it makes it a short carry over the rest of it to the green. Speaking of long, number 5, a short par 4, so hitting driver is totally up to you. This is probably one of the most contested debates of anyone who plays out here. Whether or not you go for it on number 5 or you lay up. Frankie tried to go for it. From where we are, it is probably a 275-yard carry with a false front on the green that will bring your ball 50 yards back down the fairway. Number 6 is a pretty standard par 3, playing about 130 today. The most interesting part of the hole is that there are 2 sets of tees giving you 2 different angles to play this green. Both of them are very long and skinny. But what makes it so complicated is that from one set you have a lot of depth but not a ton of width. 7 is a downhill par 4 with one of the largest greens here. You can sometimes see the flag from the tee, but in true Strands fashion, it gives you a natural aiming point. That big tree in the middle of the fairway is directly behind the green, and that fairway is as wide as it looks. Aim for the big tree, and you'll be happy. Hole par 3 is one of the longer ones on the course. The big thing is to make sure you get it to the correct tier on the green, or in Trent's case, be able to at least hit with the pin in the middle. It is imperative to get it up there because we don't want a repeat of what happened. We have the number 1 handicap hole. A decent par 4 that requires a well-placed tee shot to a very, very uphill approach. If there is one place you don't want to be, it's in the right green side bunker. Just ask Riggs and Trent. Back with number 10 is a bit of a breather after 9. A sweeping downhill, slight dogleg right par 4. Ample fairway with a massive waist area lining the entire right side. It's a straightaway drive with a decent second shot that breaks you into the back 9 well. A pretty calm hole for par 5, and is a great example of Strands' ability to make a player choose. Another big risk versus reward hole, and I'll let Frankie explain why.
So the 11th hole at Tobacco Road is a hole that we heard about all day long. They're like, wait until you get to the 11th, you're gonna see what's equivalent to a golf Grand Canyon. Like, you're on the fairway, you're on the green, you're looking down at this thing. If you slip into this bunker, you can just break your neck. It's a huge drop off.
The green is tucked way back above said Grand Canyon, 12. A par 4 dogleg left, and you can definitely cut the corner. The tee shot is the key as far as how much you want to leave yourself in. Cutting the dogleg makes it shorter, but the safer play is hitting a wood or hybrid, laying up with a long iron approach in. Well, once again, you must be precise with trouble on both sides of the green. Move to 13, a par 5 double dogleg. If you really want, you can cut the corner and go for it, but you most likely won't find your golf ball. There are 2 entrances down there, with the further one being the place to aim. It will put you in a good spot to lie up, and you have a 3-shot hole. This was actually the first hole that Strawn saw. It showcases the quote, to do or not to do of his work. Feast or famine, he makes you think and tests your ability to make a decision on the fly.
A bird's eye view. The green's impossible. You can't run it up or anything. You'd have to hit this thing like 215 with like a fucking Phil Mickelson fade into the green.
14 is a par 3 about 140 yards to carry the water all down the right side. But water quickly became the least of Frankie's worries. At Tobacco Road, you find yourself hitting a number of blind shots, and this tee shot is no different. If you aim on the right center of the fairway, it will kick a little bit left. A good drive for these guys is going to put them inside 100 yards. The green is what will get you. Anywhere right of this flag and you're looking at a 3. Off to the short par 4 16th. You want something off the tee about 185 to get you over the mounds, and you'll have a nice approach shot in. However, this green is treacherous. It is all uphill, and your landing has to be perfect. However, a short par 3 on 17 allows Trent to come within 1 hole of tying the Skins match for the day.
It's bullshit.
Yes, Trent, it is, in fact, bullshit. 18 is a par 4 dogleg left, with an intimidating waist area you have to carry off the tee. In the grand scheme of things, it is not that far, but it is a daunting look. The play is the stovepipe that will put you towards the center and give you a good angle into the 2-tiered green.
And everyone's like, no problem, like you just fly it over there. Like, who would ever hit that anyway? You just got to get it up in the air 100 yards.
A tough finishing hole for some.